Good day, everyone. This is a topic on emotional self. Emotions are the intricate threads that weave the fabric of human experience. They encompass a broad spectrum of feelings, from the sublime heights of joy to the depths of sorrow. Emotions are subjective, conscious experiences that arise in response to various stimuli, be it external events, internal thoughts, or physiological changes within the body. Emotions play a crucial role in the human experience, and their importance should not be underestimated. They are the color palette that paints the canvas of our existence. Emotions guide our reactions, shaping the contours of our responses to the world around us. Acting as both barometer and compass, emotions influence our decision making, the quality of our relationships, and our overall psychological well being. They are the music that underscores the symphony of our lives, providing depth, texture, and meaning. Here are primary and secondary emotions, and what are they? So, emotions are like a beautiful tapestry woven with different colors. Primary emotions are like the basic colors that artists use in their palette. They are universal and fundamental. Our biological makeup includes innate emotions such as, for example, happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, and disgust. These emotions are universal and exist regardless of cultural or societal influences. These emotions are unedited reactions to the world we experience. Secondary emotions, however, they arise when primary emotions and societal factors interact with each other. So feelings of jealousy, guilt, shame, they can be quite intricate and they can complex as they are influenced not only by our personal experiences but also by what we have learned alongside the social environment we are in. These feelings enhance our emotional landscape, reflecting the complexities of our social and personal narratives. So, what are the psychological responses associated with emotions? So, here you can see heart rate, breathing, and the hormonal levels. Emotions are not just vague sensations, but they actually have real and quantifiable impacts on the physical body. Emotions trigger a complex symphony of physiological responses sa aton nga lawas. So first is the heart rate. It can be accelerated or decelerated. Emotions can significantly impact heart rate. For instance, fear or excitement can lead to an increased heart rate, preparing the body for action. In contrast, feelings of sadness or relaxation might result in a slower heart rate, and for breathing, it can be shallow or deep. The way we breathe is closely tied to our emotional state. Anxiety or fear often induces shallow, rapid breathing, while ang deep and slow breaths naman are typical of relaxation and contentment. For hormonal levels, the release of stress hormones. So emotions, particularly those with stress, they trigger the release of stress hormones such as, for example, cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones prepare the body for rapid response, enhancing alertness and physical readiness. What is the role of the ANS or the autonomic nervous system in the fight or flight response of the body? So the autonomic nervous system, it plays a pivotal role in orchestrating the body's response to emotional stimuli, especially sa ginatawag na fight or flight response. The ANS consists of two branches, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. For the sympathetic nervous system, or the SNS, it is for activation during stress. When the brain perceives a threat or experiences a strong emotion, the SNS is activated, and this triggers the release of adrenaline, preparing the body for quick and decisive action. For physiological changes, the SNS induces various physiological responses, including increased heart rate, dilated pupils, redirecting of the blood flow to essential organs. So these changes collectively, they prepare the body to confront or escape a perceived threat. How about the parasympathetic nervous system, or the PNS? It is for rest and digest, or rest and digestion, in contrast sa SNS. PNS is associated with restful activities. It promotes a state of relaxation and recovery, slowing the heart rate, constricting the pupils, and facilitating digestion. It is also for balance and regulation and homeostasis. So the ANS functions to maintain a delicate balance between the SNS and the PNS. While ang SNS it prepares the body for immediate action, the PNS works to restore the body to a state of equilibrium once the emotional or stressful stimulus subsides. Understanding the intricate dance between emotions and physiological responses orchestrated by the ANS, or the autonomic nervous system, it provides valuable insights into the adaptive nature of our body in navigating the complex landscape of human experiences. So let's go with the theories of emotions. We have here first the James Lang theory. They propose that physiological precedes emotional and emotions is the consequence. So physiological precedes emotional. This theory proposes that physiological responses come before the emotional experience. So it suggests that we feel emotions in response to specific physiological changes. So, for example, you are encountering a snarling dog. According to this theory, your increased heart rate and adrenaline rush will come first, triggering the emotion of fear. In this view, the emotional response is a consequence of the physiological changes. It is the opposite of the Cannon-Bard theory. So if the James Lang theory is physiological is first and then emotion comes as a consequence, si Cannon-Bard theory naman suggests that simultaneous physiological and emotional responses sabay. So it challenges the James Lang theory. Contends that physiological reaction and emotional experiences happen simultaneously, and suggesting that it is a more intertwined relationship between physiology and emotion. So, for example, think about winning a lottery. According to the Cannon-Bard theory, the joyous feeling and the physiological responses, such as the increased heart rate, it occurs simultaneously with the emotion. Unlike sa James Lang, that it doesn't see one as a uh, causal aspect of the other. So sa iya, parallel or simultaneous. Last is the Schachter-Singer theory, or the two-factor theory. So first is they suggested that emotions involve physiological arousal and cognitive interpretation. It asserts that emotions are a result of both physiological changes and how an individual cognitively interprets a situation. So for example, you picture you are in a dark alley, and here's a Schachter Singer. They suggest that your racing heart might lead to fear, but how you interpret the situation matters. So if you realize that it's just a shortcut going home, then your emotions might shift from fear to relief. So this theory emphasizes that both physiological changes and cognitive appraisal contribute sa imong emotional experiences. It's the way you think or the way you perceive the situation. Also, in the Schachter-Singer theory, may ginatawag nga contextual significance. So it emphasizes the role of context in shaping emotional experience, highlighting ang impact of the environment on our emotion. Kag sa aton nga response with that certain situation. So, for example, you are receiving an unexpected applause. You don't even know why you are being applauded. So, according to the Schachter-Singer theory, your physiological arousal, for example, the increased heart rate, it might lead to an emotional response. But your cognitive interpretation, it is influenced by the context nga nagpalakpak ang mga tao sa imo, and then it determines whether you feel happy, surprised, or perhaps embarrassed. So it's within the context on on what situation or what context ang ilang applause. So the environment plays a crucial role in shaping your emotional experience. Next, emotion regulation strategies. Emotion regulation involves the conscious and the unconscious processes nga we use to manage our emotions effectively. So, for example, here are the strategies: cognitive reappraisal, mindfulness, suppressing of emotion, or the expressive suppression. So, for the cognitive reappraisal, you change the perspective. So, this strategy involves reframing one's thought about a situation to alter its emotional impact. So, for example, you can reframe your mind, your thoughts, to see a challenging task as an opportunity for growth rather than a source of stress. For mindfulness, it is being present in the moment, no? Present moment awareness. So mindfulness involves staying attuned to the present moment without judgment. And this is diri masulod ang mga practices such as meditation, mga deep breathing exercises. They can help individuals observe their emotion without being overwhelmed by the emotion. Next is expressive suppression, or the suppressing of emotions. So it's concealing emotion. This strategy involves hiding or suppressing emotional expressions. While it might be useful sa some certain social situations, if you always use this strategy, no, prolonged use of the expressive suppression, it can lead to negative psychological outcomes man, such as, for example, mas ma-increase ang imong stress, you will have impaired mental health, communication difficulties, and because of that, you will have strained relationships, and then overall, it can decrease your emotional well-being. Next is the EI, or the emotional intelligence. And ano ba ang role ng emotional intelligence in managing our emotions? So, the EI, or the emotional intelligence, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's own emotions while also being attuned to the emotions of others. So it involves several components, as you can see here: the self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, relationship management. So for self-awareness, it is recognizing one's emotion as they occur. You know what the emotion is, and you are aware that you are feeling that certain emotion. For self-regulation, you're managing and controlling one's emotional responses. So you know, if, for example, if you are very angry and you are holding a knife, you can self-regulate your emotion if you suppress yourself or you control yourself. You've successfully managed to not strike the person in front of you or the person that you are being angry with. Next is social awareness. It is understanding the emotions of others and how they might react to a certain stimulus. And lastly is the relationship management. It is using emotional information to navigate social interactions. So uh, you might be aware na and you know how to manage your respective relationships, may it be sa household, sa classmates, sa peers, if you have successfully understood or ang mga pasikot-sikot on how human beings would react to certain stimuli, and then you try to mediate the specific phenomenon that is happening. So emotional intelligence really is an important aspect when it comes to handling our emotions, and it helps us deal with complicated social situations as well, no? You form better relationships, and then you are able to make smart choices by paying attention to each other's emotion, not just your own. And here, we now go to the healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms. So many mga examples. For the healthy coping mechanisms, seeking support, it is sharing emotions with trusted friends or family members. Next is problem solving, addressing the root cause of the emotional distress and then trying to solve it from the root. Engaging in hobbies. So it is participating in activities that bring joy and relaxation. For the unhealthy coping, here, unhealthy coping, it is avoidance, substance abuse, and escapism. So for avoidance, so for example, you are ignoring or avoiding the emotions, which can lead to unresolved issues. Next is substance abuse, using drugs or alcohol to numb emotions. And then escapism, it is distracting yourself, no? Excessively through like mga excessive activities such as excessive gaming or binge watching just to avoid dealing with the specific emotion that you're trying to avoid. It is important to recognize the difference between healthy and unhealthy ways of dealing with emotions in order to promote emotional well being. Engaging in healthy coping strategies helps us grow and become more resilient, while relying on unhealthy ones naman of the unhealthy coping mechanisms, it can keep us stuck in negative patterns and eventually it will harm our mental well being. For the emotional maturity and its importance in relationships, it refers to the ability to understand, manage, and express emotions in a balanced and constructive manner. It involves self awareness, self regulation, empathy, and effective interpersonal skills. So, emotional maturity is crucial for fostering healthy personal and social relationships. Here are some importance of the emotional maturity: effective communication, conflict resolution, empathy, and personal well being. So, for effective communication, your emotionally mature individuals, they can communicate their feelings and needs effectively, contributing to clearer and more constructive interactions. For conflict resolutions, they can handle conflicts with composure, seeking resolution rather than escalating tensions. For empathy, Emotional maturity fosters empathy by it allows individuals to understand and connect with the emotions of others. And of course, by this, they are enhancing the quality of the relationship. For personal well being, emotionally mature individuals, they are better equipped to navigate life's challenges, leading to improved mental and emotional well being. Here are emotional development and progress towards maturity and the stages of emotional development and progress. So first you have to be aware, recognizing emotion, you acknowledge the emotion that you are feeling, the specific emotion, and then you identify what emotion you are feeling as they arise. And then you understand triggers, you identify situation or stimuli na nag-evoke sang specific emotional response nga na. And then, you should know how to regulate. Regulation. You manage your emotion, you develop strategies to regulate and control your emotional reactions. And then you might go to coping mechanisms, but um, you should always choose the healthy coping mechanisms. So you should learn how to um, cope healthily to navigate your stress, your challenges, and then you identify root causes and then you try to solve them from the start, from the beginning, kung ano gid ang root cause of that specific stress. And then expression. You effectively communicate, express your emotions in a clear and constructive manner. Diri man ni masulod ang empathy, where you develop the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. And lastly is integration, wherein you apply consistency. You apply emotional skills consistently across various situations, and then that's where adaptability will come in. So you adjust emotional responses based on the context and then based on the needs of the situation. It is encouraged to self-reflect on specific emotional responses. So, how do you self-reflect? You identify the triggers, you reflect on situations or stimuli that elicit strong emotional responses. You explore patterns, recognize mo to kung ano mga paulit-ulit na lang, mga recurring patterns in sa mga emotional reactions to better understand kung ano gid ang underlying issues that you are experiencing. And then, may ginatawag ta nga impact assessment. You consider kung how these emotional responses affect personal well-being and your relationship. And then you seek feedbacking. No, you seek feedback. You solicit feedback from trusted friends, mentors, para makagain ka insights into mga things nga hindi mo makita on your own. Ang mga blind spots. So what are the benefits of self-reflection? Of course, first and foremost is the personal growth. Next is improved relationships and resilience. So, understanding emotional responses, it contributes to personal growth and self-improvement. And awareness of emotional patterns allows for more considerate and intentional interactions. And of course, you can develop resilience. Developing resilience through self-reflection helps navigate challenges with greater ease na. So, emotional maturity, it is a it is a journey. It is a journey for personal development. It requires ongoing self awareness, ongoing self regulation, never ending personal growth. So, when we encourage ourselves to reflect on our thoughts, on our actions, on the consequences of the decisions that we make, it helps us grow emotionally and to become more mature. This, in turn, it will lead to healthier relationships and an overall improved or more developed sense of well-being, most especially so in your psychological health, your mental health, which we all know naman it can affect the physical health as well. So that's it for emotional self.